Take this bit out too.
You know, when that whole bit starts, you should literally leave like somehow the timestamp in, and then do the deleted, and it just jumps like. This is what you want. Is this what you want? Like you want me to sing and make an ass of myself?
So tell me what you want. What you really want. I have no idea what that is.
You see what I want to do? The fucking play the music.
3, 2, 1, let's jam.
You're swimming through a sea of diarrhea looking for a gym.
Well, somebody roll back the counter on this many episodes without I don't think anybody that saw me understood what I was doing. It was Wednesday, and Halloween was 5 days away. I'm from somewhere else.
No one understands me.
Well, Jesus Christ.
That's a terrible thing.
Oh my
That's
God.
what made me laughing.
Holy shit. Oh my God.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, like...
Earlier today, when we were talking about this, he said this was a bad idea. I'm starting to think he was right. It's he being you.
Might have to cut that part out, because I may have just...
Oh, we're not cutting that out. That's not bad.
Yeah,
I was going to say, dude. Yeah, it's like... Nah, dude, that sounds like a...
Ooh, I think he lost. It's easy like Sunday morning.
Easy like Sunday morning. Speaking of morning, I know you don't care about The Witcher, the show, and neither did anybody that worked on it, according to season 2.
Wow.
But they're getting rid of
wow.
Old Henry Cavill is out after season 3. I'm like, why would he do that? Well, I guess that tells you all you need to know about where this season is going. Because it just like the first season was pretty good. And then the second season like got like way away from like the books and the game and like everything else.
So they ran with it.
Yeah. And apparently like Henry Cavill was like the only one that knew any of the lore of like The Witcher or cared about it. Like,
is he like a nerd or something?
He's a massive nerd, dude.
I guess that explains why he knew how to do Superman well.
Did you see the episode? Oh yeah, they've announced the Man of Steel, second Man of Steel movie, I believe.
Oh, they're going to give him another one?
And he's like really excited to be playing a joyful version of Superman. One that's not like depressed all the time.
Yeah, like, that's the kind of thing you want to see. Like, we all kind of want to see the Boy Scout, you know?
You want to see Superman be Superman.
Yes, you do. The only person who doesn't want to see Superman being Superman are Lex Luthor's. And do you really want to be like him? Like, such a sad, sad little man.
Let's see. What movie is a 10 out of 10?
Batman, Mask of the Phantasm.
I would agree with that.
Another 10 out of 10. I like the Avatar movie. And we're not talking about the Airbender.
Avatar, the James Cameron movie.
3 times in theaters.
The James Cameron movie.
Yeah.
10 out of 10.
It's one of the only movies I've ever done that.
I would say 10 out of 10.
Another 10 out of 10, I would say the first Star Wars or episode 4, I guess.
Episode 4 was a fucking 10 out of 10.
It was perfect. I mean, sure, it wasn't the best lightsaber fighting, and it's not the greatest starship battle scene either, though it's still my favorite. And it doesn't even have a Mandalorian anywhere in it.
Nope. Not once. Man, 10 out of 10.
Come on, Hype. I've been naming movies left and right. What's wrong with you?
Well, I guess that says what I think about movies and what is or isn't a 10 out of 10. I don't know, honestly.
I might not know the actors, but I at least know the good ones.
Well, I'm suddenly having trouble coming up with anything. I would say...
Snatch.
I love Snatch, but I don't think it's a 10 out of 10.
No, Snatch is definitely 10 out of 10.
I love Snatch, but I wouldn't call
Snatch
it 10
is,
out of 10.
dude,
I love the Book of Eli, but it's not a 10 out of 10.
I would love to love the Book of Eli.
I love Lord of the Rings, but I don't know if any of them are 10 out of 10. And if I was going to call one of the Lord of the Rings movies a 10 out of 10, I would probably say The Return of the King was my favorite. The Two Towers was very good, but I think
Two Towers had the most action in it, if you ask me.
I think The Two Towers also veers the most from the books. It's been a long time since I read them. I actually just
dude, I'm gonna be honest.
I actually just
Last time I
started
read them was
listening.
in elementary.
I just started listening to the Fellowship of the Ring. The stream not brought to you by Audible, but we should be. I love Audible.
I don't know, man. I don't know if I want to be sponsored by.
Just pretend you didn't hear that, Mr. Bezos. We definitely want your Audible money.
Whatever. Google for life. Shameless plug. What is this like? Is this like internet panhandling?
I would say the Fellowship of the Ring is probably a 10 out of 10, or as close to one as I can think of. Not the Fellowship. I mean the Return of the King. I saw that one the most.
Well, Fellowship does have the Balrog scene.
The Fellowship is awesome. No, that's probably the best movie in the whole series. The best scene in the whole series. It
is definitely up there.
The You Shall Not Pass. I watched that this morning.
I
would call the Grand Budapest Hotel a 10 out of 10. I love that movie. I love that movie.
I do love that movie. But in order for me to call it a 10 out of 10, it has to be one that I can just, like, I will throw it on no matter what.
Okay, I've got one then. With that in mind.
I've also got another one.
The Departed.
Yeah, that is definitely a 10 out of 10 for me.
No Country for Old Men.
Definitely another 10 out of 10. Interstellar 5555, the secret of the story of the secret star system.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
I own that bitch on Blu-ray. That is the only physical DVD I own.
I've never seen that.
Bro, I will let you borrow my copy.
What series is 10 out of 10 for you if you had to just like
a series? Like what do you mean what kind of series?
Like I could
like
watch
a trilogy?
I could watch Cowboy Bebop. It's not a movie, but I could watch Cowboy Bebop like over and over.
Akame ga Kill is definitely 10 out of 10. Dragon Ball Z.
I was going to say Dragon Ball Z.
Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super, GT doesn't exist. Yeah, all of those definitely.
Okay, let's see what Reddit said about a 10 out of 10. Let's see if we won. 12 Angry Men. Every time I watch it, I find new details to admire. Amadeus. Is that about fucking Mozart?
I have fucking no idea.
I have no idea.
I'm a culture swine, so what do I care?
I haven't seen either of those movies. I've never seen 12 Angry Men. I've never seen Fargo either. Man, I know that one's supposed to be really good.
I don't care for it.
I know of it. I just haven't seen it, but I do love the Coen brothers. Oh, Brother, Where Art Thou is a great movie.
I'm not a fan of that one either, man.
Silence of the Lambs is number 4 on this list of comments.
Dude, there are so many weird people out there.
The Thing. What the fuck is wrong with Reddit?
The
Aliens.
Thing?
Yeah.
Okay, now I feel like these are just shit posts.
Aliens. That's a good movie.
Aliens is a good movie, and I love that series. It's one of my favorite sci-fi. Xenomorphs are definitely in like my top of favorite movie things.
City of God.
But I don't know if I can call it 10 out of 10.
My Cousin Vinny. That's a great movie.
That is a great fucking movie. My Cousin Vinny is definitely 10 out of 10.
Goodfellas. That's a good movie.
Goodfellas, all right.
This is a weird list.
Right.
Terminator 2. That was a great movie.
Terminator 2 was good.
Man, we're old as shit.
Yeah, dude. And I was going to say, I like the first one more, though.
Clue 1985. Stand By Me. That's a good movie.
That is a good movie. God dang, I got a little
The original Back to the Future. Also a very good movie.
It was a good movie, not 10 out of 10. Though.
I just want to see one that we named. Jurassic Park. That was a great movie.
I love that movie, but it's not 10 out of 10.
Blazing Saddles. Blazing Saddles is not a 10 out of 10. It's a great movie.
That movie can't be 10 out of 10.
Spaceballs is my favorite.
For humanity, that can't be 10 out of 10.
Spaceballs is my favorite Mel Brooks movie.
Yeah.
Robin Hood Men in Tights is also very good.
Yes. Yeah, movie. Monty Python, Search for the Holy Grail.
That's a 10 out of 10. Saving Private Ryan, that's a good movie. The Matrix.
That's a good movie. Saving Private Ryan's fucking awesome.
Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Series. 10 out of 10 on both of those.
Monty Python and the Holy Grail, the first one that we've mentioned. We had to go how many far down? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Damn, we lost today. We got to pick another question.
Dude, this Reddit is garbage. Oh, brother, where art thou? Finally. Man, we had to go so far down.
I didn't consider that one 10 out of 10.
I love that movie, though.
It's a good movie, but it's just...
It's about the Odyssey, man.
Yeah, I guess I just don't care for the time period.
Okay, this will be interesting. There's no way we're going to win this one, but it'll be fun. What immediately makes a man or a woman unattractive? When they think they know everything or are always right. Years ago. Oh, this is not even a
wow, damn, dude. That's a big personality trait for both me and you.
Yep.
You're right out the gate.
That's true.
That should hurt your feelings just a little.
Speaking down to someone else in order to get the group's attention or a laugh.
Oh yeah, no, that is definitely that. Like
how they treat others.
That makes me angry.
Almost 80% of the ocean hasn't been discovered. What are you most likely to find there?
Giant squid.
I'm going to say fish.
Let's see.
I don't know if my answer will be a top answer, but I know it's correct.
Probably Cthulhu.
Water.
Ha ha. Of course you're going to find fucking water. Smart ass, but correct.
I think there's too much pressure to be fucking down there, but, you know, someone will try to do it, I'm sure. I guess the fish do.
Yeah, say a lot of fish do.
Yeah, there's a lot of fucking going on in the ocean.
Yeah, there's a reason why you don't drink that water.
Let's see.
Besides it being salty and bad for you.
Invertebrates that look very similar to other invertebrates that we have discovered. Bullwing. I don't want to play that. Shipwrecks. Bingo. Yeah. Number 2. You won nothing.
I think it's like 16,000. Like the furthest down
Leagues
shipwreck.
Under the Sea.
I didn't care for that one either. Wait, wasn't that a book?
Welcome back to King of the World chat, where the topics are made up and the points that Sargarrett just won don't matter.
But I did earn them.
You did. No one can take that from you. Warning, detecting Leviathan class creature in your area. Are you certain whatever you're doing is worth it? I think that's from that one game.
Eve?
No, the one where you dive under the water.
Oh, Subnautica?
Subnautica. Supposed to be very good.
Yeah.
Does that game scare you?
Mm-mm.
It doesn't make you uneasy?
Mm-mm.
Interesting.
Here's the thing.
How do you feel about submarines and submersibles?
Fuck that.
So that should scare you.
You got to remember what it's like. If I can get into the mindset and like when you're doing a game or something like that, that's fine. Like if I'm like kind of like how I would be playing like World of Warcraft, that's not going to bother me. Being in VR, that bothers me.
Does what is the name of that zone? Oh, I forgot it all of a sudden. Vashir. No,
Vashir doesn't give me trouble.
It doesn't?
Mm-mm. But you know what zone in World of Warcraft would?
What's up?
It's where Halea is. I can't remember the name.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
All those shipwrecks, everything's like more. Nah, dude. Fucking nightmare for me. Absolute fucking nightmare.
Cool stones. Let's see. Let's look at the last couple.
Do they mean cool as in like they're cool or like as in
Not
or
hot.
like as in
yeah, they're all just like the Fonzie and they're smacking.
Yeah, like they're all just fawns down there.
They're all punching the jukebox with their elbows and making it start. What phrase immediately annoys you? How'd you get into my house? So annoying. Sometimes Reddit is profound, but only 1 out of every 1,000 times.
Yeah. And I'm going to be honest, you're swimming through a sea of diarrhea looking for a gym.
A sea of diarrhea. Well, somebody roll back the counter on this many episodes without talking about shit.
Yeah, shit.
In the first 15 minutes.
Well, what was that, like 2 episodes? Maybe. Shit just keeps coming back.
Next time we should flip it and we should sort by controversial and try to pick some of the worst answers.
Oh, God. Yeah, so do you really want to just reach into the ass recess of Reddit. Like, if you think of it like you're digging in a candy bag, you're literally digging in some big sweaty guy's asshole here.
It depends on the question.
Yeah.
Are you wearing a Texas shirt?
I am.
I have not seen you wear a Texas shirt in like 1,000 years.
That's because you don't see me at work.
Okay, fair enough. You do work around a lot of Baylor people.
Yes, I do. And dude, I'm gonna be honest. It's something about when you start seeing a bunch of green and gold, you're like, I should put on some burnt orange.
This is episode 8, I think.
Yeah, it's episode 8.
No, this is 9. We did episode 8 last time.
Oh, dang. We're about to hit double digits.
We're about to hit episode 10. Dude, we're almost...
About 1/10 of the way on 100 episodes.
All right, well, we got to get away to get over to what it is that we're trying to talk about.
Well, we're waiting. I think he lost.
I think we need an orb of confusion.
And we do need an orb of confusion. That would be so great. I've never seen a Man Ray costume.
That would be a good Halloween. Oh, did you hear about Ligma Johnson?
No, I heard
I'm
about
not doing a bit.
Johnson.
I'm not doing a bit.
I'm sorry, you used Ligma. Everybody knows what Ligma is.
So you didn't hear there? No, they didn't apparently, because there were 2 guys in that. So what's his name? The Musk just bought Twitter, and they were in the process of letting changing staff and all that. 2 guys who pretended to be Twitter employees, they got fired, and they told the press that their names were Rahul Ligma and Daniel Johnson. And so the news was reporting that Ligma and Johnson had been let go from Twitter. And
Johnson.
Yes, dude. The guy said it with such a straight face too. They were like, "What's your name?" And he's like, "Rahul." You're like, "And your last name?" He's like, "LIGMA."
Wow.
It was fantastic. There were several news sites that reported it and had no idea what Ligma was.
Dude, talk about wrecked.
He should have got him with these nuts while he was at it.
I know, right?
Dude, I would have just
already gotten that opening.
I would have asked him every question that I could think of related to any of those kinds of bits. We're like, "Hey, sir, do you prefer CDs or tapes?"
Oh, man. CDs or tapes. Tape these nuts to your forehead.
There you go. Oh, man. This segment brought to you by Mountain Dew. Ligma Johnson.
Ligma Johnson? God dang.
One of my friends out at the park was walking his dog, and he said he didn't know what he was going to be for Halloween. He's like, "I guess I could be Ligma and Johnson." And I was like, that would be a good costume. It's like, you just have to I was like, "Well, how would you dress?" I'm like, what would someone who's in between jobs dress like?
I don't know, man.
I told him he should print out his resume and tape it to his chest and put resume and then Ligma Johnson on there.
Or just get a shirt that says, "Hi, my name is Ligma Johnson."
We are 12 minutes into the restart and we're talking about Ligma Johnson.
Oh yeah, this is the one coming out on Halloween.
Yep. Oh, there we go. There's a fucking intro. It's Halloween. What do you do on Halloween? You dress up as something that you're not.
Yep.
You probably don't get immersed in it. In games,
why are you not? That's the whole point. Have fun with it.
I mean, that would be a blast.
Any other time you dress up, it's going to be weird.
That's true. I went to the office earlier this week in a Superman shirt, and I used paper clips to attach a red T-shirt to my back as if it were a cape. And I don't think anybody that saw me understood what I was doing because it was Wednesday and Halloween was 5 days away. It was 5 days away from Halloween, but it was the last day I was going to be in the office, and we were literally decorating a cube for Halloween. So I said, fuck it, I'm doing a shitty Superman costume. It was a good time. You get dressed up on Halloween. Well, one of the most important things in a game to make you, as the player character, identify as a character in the game that character creation process. More so in games where, like an RPG, whether it's tabletop, an online RPG, or something like Knights of the Old Republic, or one of the Skyrim.
Dude, Skyrim, yeah. You can really, if you have Skyrim VR, you can get real lost. And
Skyrim is an interesting topic on this topic because it's so different from what we're about to talk about, and we can get to that. Yeah, because honestly, I think it has one of the problems that makes this good. Class fantasy.
Yeah. Yes, class fantasy. And I can see where you're saying the problem is because with Skyrim, play it long enough, you're pretty much everything.
Exactly.
So unless you're playing by certain rules that you're restricting yourself, which, let's be honest, most people aren't doing, then it really kind of comes down to a situation where you don't really have a class other than God.
Yeah. Which, class fantasy does a lot of things. It makes it so that you can try, a slice of the game without having to learn everything. It gives replay value. It helps you to, like I said, identify and get more immersed in the character that you're playing as. It makes party, a party system, work better in something like an MMO. But you could even have classes in games like Overwatch isn't technically a class, but they're sort of like classes.
I mean, they all technically kind of they all fill a role, but they just answer the question a little bit differently. But is it really enough to call it a different class?
Probably not. There's too many categories.
Exactly. Although I will say Mercy might be one to consider her own class because she has one of the strangest play styles, which I really enjoy.
Okay, actually, you know what? You just made a good point. If you narrowed it down to healers, DPS, and tanks, then yeah, Overwatch does have classes. Yeah, it's got the Holy Trinity.
Well, yeah, it's Blizzard. That's all they know.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, look, Diablo. I mean, when it comes in the other places, even you're running tanks, healers, and DPS is in Warcraft 3, StarCraft, And then if you stop to think about it, if you're breaking it down like that, technically in any game, that's kind of what you're doing. Well, no, but you got single player games. But
that's what everybody, I think, enjoyed the most about Overwatch, and what set it apart was those roles. And like you said, each character almost plays like their own class.
Yeah.
It mostly applies to RPGs, but it's what makes it fun. It's the most fun part of starting a tabletop RPG. If you've ever played D&D or anything like that, it's creating your character. It gives you the rules for your gameplay. It tells you your alignment sometimes. It can give you your origins. It does a lot of things for you.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very important.
Yes.
How important? Well, no, we just sort of answered that. How important is it to gameplay?
Well, depending on the game you're playing, either not at all or very.
I do think it is largely what sets apart good RPGs from not as good RPGs. Because in a way, the class fantasy says a lot about the world building of the game.
Yeah, definitely.
What about games or worlds where a class, most of the time you will see a commonality or a pattern in what classes are available. They might have different names slightly, but you usually got a warrior or a fighter. It's like sword and board, your sword and shield.
Yeah.
You've got rangers, think Legolas from Lord of the Rings. You've got fucking wizards like Gandalf and Saruman. You've got
essentially kind of goes like this. You've got your melee slaps and you got your range slaps. You got your range magic slaps. You even got your melee magic slaps. And then you got the guys who put band-aids on things.
You got healers.
Some put band-aids, some sew up the wound, others just dump alcohol on it and slap you and say, get back to it.
But those things are super important because if they didn't have individual class fantasies, then like you might as well be like
playing the same thing.
Yeah, or even if it wasn't the same thing, it's
a
like
warrior. He's either sword and board or he's two-hander. A mage is a mage. He's either healing or he's pew-pewing. Like, you know, it's if you don't have real class fantasy, you have
numbers. And
that's
boring ass fucking. You have nothing.
So so what he would say, like let's start with like the magic range, because that's what everybody likes to kind of. I think a lot of people like to play that. Like I feel like
magic users.
Yeah, I think everybody dreams of using magic. I don't think it matters how old you get.
It's definitely one of the cooler ones.
Yeah, everybody imagines themselves with some kind of ability that is inhuman, or you know what, extraordinary. Let's put it that way.
There you go.
So
largely, I think that like these things would have been defined by like Dungeons and Dragons is where it's sort of all rooted to. It's not the first, but it's going to be like one of the roots. And like you have to factor in that, of course, you're talking about games. These things are usually they need to be balanced. Otherwise, everybody's more likely than not going to pick
everything. Yeah, they're only going to use a meta.
The most powerful one.
Exactly.
Yeah. The best. Why wouldn't you?
Some people like more of a challenge. People like me, you know, I won't take the best because I think I can make something that is considered overlooked. And
if you're playing a single player game, like that feels better. But if you're playing a multiplayer game, it just feels bad.
Or like World of Warcraft?
Well, I think WoW sort of like basically in the modern era.
Brought it back with the talent system, dude.
Well, specs and then specializations within classes take that even further. Take that class fantasy even further.
Yeah, it's like okay, it's like okay, so there's like 6 demon hunters. Well, with certain talents, you can essentially fine tune them, and they're not all the same demon hunter. You know,
which is what made the talent system cool, and it's good that they're bringing that back for Dragonflight. Oh
yes, dude, I'm having a fucking ball with it.
I think everybody likes that. There's a lot. I've seen a lot of comments where people are like, "I'm having more fun." Like preparing my character for like just like we said a second ago, like
it's part of the reason why I want to re-level all my tunes, because like it's much easier to to figure out the class
as you go up.
Exactly.
Yes, like
then
exactly.
You go through and read all this shit. Now Demon Hunter, I'll do that all day because that's my class. But I'm still thinking about leveling one on the Horde side to play with Bobby because he really wants me to do that, and I kind of feel like I should. But yeah, I know, Horde, right?
I mean, you could do a lot of content with the Horde nowadays. You do a lot of content with them nowadays.
Yeah, but
they should just make it to where you can go ahead and do open world content with them.
I just want to play with my friends, and some of my friends chose wrong and played Horde, so.
A lot of people chose wrong and played Horde.
I think everybody plays what they feel like on the inside. Might have to cut that part out because I may have just called a large portion of the community monsters.
Oh, we're not cutting that out. That's not bad. I was gonna say, dude. Yeah, it's like, nah, dude. That sounds like a fucking My Chemical Romance song. I feel like a monster, so I play for the Horde. I walk around. I'm not wanted in this world.
That's definitely the undead players.
I'm from somewhere else.
No one understands me.
I've got demon's blood in my veins.
And hatred in my heart.
Dude, the trolls, they just got a bunch of THC in their veins. The trolls are awesome.
Yeah, dude, I would say out of all the Horde, my favorites are definitely the trolls. Trolls are top.
And they're some of the most monstrous out of the Horde members too.
Yeah, they really are. They're some of the worst. Like,
dude, trolls are awesome. Trolls are fucking awesome.
Yeah, but they're fucking evil as shit, dude. Like,
they're not evil. They just fucking do what they do.
Magic is inherently evil. They steal souls, man. Like,
that's just, dude.
They're fucking soul snatchers.
Literally every race in WoW has evil magic.
Yes, but it's each one of their religion is evil. Like,
their religion is all the lowest, bro.
Which is what? Things collecting souls.
Only some of them.
All of them are. That's how they have their power. They
like some of them are just where they go. Yeah, if they're religious, that means they give their soul. All religions do that, bro.
Yeah, it's why you should be an atheist.
Religion is
Magic,
evil. There
magic,
you go.
magic, atheism.
Religion is evil. You heard it here first.
Oh man, if any of our family members are watching, they just learned something.
Dude,
about
if our
Sargarrett.
family members are watching, then like they've disowned us a long time ago.
Probably the Bolivik conversations what did it.
Hey, I got nothing against anybody for believing whatever they want to believe within reason and not harming other people.
Yeah, it's fine. It's just when you start crusading,
Yeah,
it becomes
harming
a
other
problem.
people. Well, you can crusade without being physically violent, I guess.
I don't know. I think mission work is like pretty asshole-ish.
Yeah, no, I always love.
I'm gonna come in your house and tell you about my God.
South Park did it best when it's like one of the very early episodes, and she like goes to Africa and with a bunch of Bibles, and the kid tries to eat it. She's like, no, we don't eat the Bibles. It's like she didn't bring them food.
Yep, we're feeding their spirit. It doesn't look like their spirit is what needs the food right now.
So,
continuing on to class fantasies.
Wall glaives. That's the way Preach always says it, and it always gets on my nerves. Wall glaives.
I know he can't say war.
He's from Manchester. We'll forgive him. Warglaives, Shadowmourne, ATS, the Whirlwind Axe, Classic Warlock Demon Quests, Green Fire, race-specific Druid forms, class order halls, and quest lines. They were fantastic. Artifact weapons, very cool. Class mounts, some of the best mounts in the game. Tier armor, before it was all homogenized in its design and its color choices. All of these things are what people enjoyed some of the most.
All of these things are chosen to make the perfect RPG. But what
combined, they form.
Added was the community.
When they come together, they form Voltron to make a fun game. WoW forgot how to do that. They're trying to figure it out. But if they could put some more work into making, like, just lean into the class shit. That's why I think, like, artifact weapons, even though, like, the artifact power grind was kind of bullshit, like, artifact weapons, every class that I level, I go get the artifact weapons. I do the fucking class order quest line because it's cool as shit. I want the fucking mount. Like, dude, you do Death Knight shit when you do the Death Knight quest line. It feels good to be a Death Knight doing Death Knight shit. Like, the Whirlwind Axe. It's literally one of the first examples of something that was like every warrior remembers the Whirlwind Axe. Hopefully you don't remember it because you
take the Whirlwind Hammer
because you took the sword instead.
Yeah. The worst choice.
A moment of silence for those who took the sword instead. You were wrong, but it's okay.
Yes, you were.
It's just well, like, and that's why I said with
just real quick. You remember Pendulum of Doom? Damn.
I was gonna say the Warlock quests to get your specific demons when you first get them.
Oh
fucking
yeah, those
awesome.
are cool. Yeah, it's like, it's not. I'm not just a magic user with a pet like a hunter. Like as it were, the hunters had to go out and you had to train. 3 different pets before you could go find one of your own. And
oh yeah. I mean, honestly, I'm fine with on all of the changes that they did. I'm fine with rogues starting with dual wield. It's fucking annoying to level 10.
That should have always been that way.
Hunters starting with their pet isn't terrible to me. I did think it was cool to do the whole.
I mean, it was kind of like the rite of passage.
The shaman totem quest line sucked.
Yeah, there was no need for that. I mean, like, there was literally no need for that.
Defensive stance, like, do you know how many warriors didn't get defensive stance back in the day?
But the defensive stance quest on both sides was
they're cool.
Cold.
The quest is
like,
cool.
You go and get drunk and fight in a bar.
Well, and I guess that, like, makes our point better about because I'm talking about the class feel of it. No, that's awesome. You're absolutely right. But the problem was, how many fucking warriors didn't have defensive stance back in the day because they didn't know they were supposed to go back to their trainer?
How many priests didn't have res?
Dude, how many
paladins didn't
how
have
many
red?
shamans didn't have their water totem? Like,
I know, right? Like that was so common. That was like, ugh.
and that quest was legitimate. Fucking, oh, I'll tell you one that
was
like
hard.
was the most rare. Fucking aqua form on druids. Unless you went to Thoughtbot, like you were not getting that done, probably.
Oh
like,
man, I found both of them.
I'm just saying, most people wouldn't even realize,
Yeah.
like back in the day, that was a thing. Nowadays,
I figured that at like the age of 13, dude. That was
one of the best quality of life changes is the smart travel form that just changes like based on the context of where you're at. You hop in the water, you're suddenly a fucking, is it a seal or is it a walrus?
Dude, I've always thought it was a walrus. I mean, it doesn't really have the tusks, but it's way too fat to be a seal. You know what I'm saying? There's too much blubber.
Seals are pretty fat, dude.
But dude, they're not that big.
It's not an otter. Maybe it's a really fat otter. It's a big boy.
It's a humongous chungus.
Okay, let's do this. Game balance wasn't an issue. If we were going to just look at,
well, okay, so when it comes to game balance, like, are we talking like Dungeons and Dragons or World of Warcraft or like, really I'm asking tabletop or MMORPG?
I mean, honestly, I would say let's do it with D&D, but I feel like people will have a better reference point with WoW because there's slightly more like options there.
Okay, I would say, well, with the balancing issue on tabletop, it's easier because that comes down to your DM.
Almost all of the classes in World of Warcraft have some equivalent in most other fantasy games. So substitute whatever it is in WoW for whatever it is in the game that you like. That's the one we're going to talk about because it's the one we know.
Yeah, and it's the one we spend our lives playing.
Dude, honestly, I think in the 21st century or whatever century it is, I think people generally do probably think of WoW as being like,
dude, it's definitely one of our generation's Dungeons and Dragons. You know, like for a lot of people, that was their introduction to fantasy.
Like, should we do the most powerful? Should we do like the coolest? Like, should we do?
So popularity is kind of, I think, one of the biggest players here because popularity is also going to determine play styles because certain classes are not as easy to play as others. And it doesn't mean that pushing the buttons is harder. It's doing them in the right order that is complicated. And sometimes
that's
animation
mechanics
on screens are the problem. For example, you're going to have more mages probably than you are warlocks. I know I definitely run into more mages than I run into warlocks. And I feel like part of that comes down to warlock is generally a more difficult class to play than something like.
That depends on the patch. I think you were right.
Yeah, I would say like in the old days, it was dot everything up and run around in fear.
Dude, in BC, you just mashed fucking not Chaos Bolt. What was it back then?
It was Shadow Bolt.
Shadow Bolt.
It was just Shadow Bolt. You just Shadow Bolted everything.
No, literally, and used Seed of Corruption. Like that was that
was it.
That was top of the DPS charts back in BC.
But it was playing like a mage because that's what mage does. Like, and that's how Frost Mage, which was
what's interesting is fucking Marksman Hunter in current WoW kind of plays almost like a spellcaster.
In a way, yeah. But it's a more physical, like it's easier to get into the fantasy of a soldier with a gun
which is why class fantasy is so important because if you don't have class fantasy, suddenly ranged DPS is just ranged DPS.
Exactly. And that's what makes it part of the whole thing fun.
Okay, well then let's not necessarily just go power. Let's go off of what has the best class fantasies as we see it, factoring in power, usefulness, as in like utility. I think coolness has to be a factor, like to some extent. Yeah, player popularity and coolness are separate because sometimes the community is stupid.
It's like, but I'm gonna be honest. Like the community is also not purely evil. Like if the top class was something called like rapist, they wouldn't play it probably.
Oh my God.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, like, they wouldn't. It's like, no, it's like, it doesn't matter how powerful it is. It's fucked up.
No, the sad thing is people probably would play that.
I still think it's a valid point, though.
Well, Jesus Christ.
Such a terrible thing.
Oh my
I don't
God.
mean to be laughing
Holy
at that.
shit on a shingle, dude. And we're back. All right. So let's go over here now. Boom.
Can you just go brrr on that part too? Okay.
Let's pretend we just said something about
Gotta be a
blood
little
elves, am I right? Okay. Should we just go left to right then?
Yeah, might as well.
Well, okay, warrior. That's the first one. Warrior is cool,
It is.
but it's also probably one of the most, I don't want to say the most bland character fantasies out of everything that's available to you.
Dude, it's the only one that truly exists.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, everything else has a really heavy fantasy moment into it. Like, even the hunter, like, has an animal that if it isn't domesticated, that is basically following you around and doing things that just really...
I'm going to give you my hot take. They weakened the class fantasy of warrior when they let blood elves be them. Because before that, like, they had some, like there was something to that. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
like,
not everything could be a warrior.
yeah, and now it's like they just made it a little bit more.
Because a blood elf warrior doesn't really technically make sense because they need magic of some kind.
Okay, well then are the classes that can automatically be any race in WoW like just a little bit worse?
I guess so, because it's like, look, there's nothing special about it. You know, it's the common.
It's less special.
Yeah, it's like the white class essentially. You know, like, and what I mean by like gray item, white item, rare tier, uncommon tier, rare tier, epic tier, legendary.
It's a good thing you weren't talking about the white class as in like.
Yeah, I guess it's a good thing we did explain that.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
I wonder what my neighbors think if they hear just like segments of it when we're recording these.
Warrior is cool. Like some of the coolest characters, like Varian is a warrior. Who's cool warriors? Yeah. Fucking Broxigar. Most people don't even know who Broxigar is, dude.
I know, that's such a like
Sarfang's brother.
Orcs. I hate orcs.
He hates orcs.
I despise them. Like filthy greenskins, you're good for nothing. But Broxigar is awesome as hell.
It's Sarfang's brother, in case you didn't know.
Yeah, and like, while I still don't care much for Sarfang, I respect the hell out of him.
Sarfang's pretty badass, dude.
Yeah, dude. Like, doesn't matter whether you like orcs or not, you respect Sarfang.
Varians is a
But
badass.
once again, the whole reason you respect him is because they're so human.
Okay, here's the problem with warriors. You know, you remember Indiana Jones?
Yeah.
You remember the guy that comes out and spins the sword around?
Yeah, I know where this is going. This is about Harrison Ford needed taking a piss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah, that's to say that is the problem. And even in the books, that is the big problem for warriors. They're always getting killed very easily.
And in D&D, like, it's one of the more, like, generic options.
Yep. Unless you're a barbarian, but because you, like, have such a disbelief in certain magics, they just don't work on you as well.
Now, I will say, I just started leveling a warrior the other day, and I am having a lot of fun playing Fury Warrior.
Yeah, dude, it's just slapping things with a freaking big old stick with a metal
everything
ring.
being like rage, though, like using two-handed weapons.
They added the avatar ability.
That's sick. Really?
Yeah.
When did that get added?
I don't know. It was one of the last tier warrior choices in the old talent system. But it is now in the what's it called? It's in the main talent tree, and on top of that, you also have Stormbolt now.
Could technically 2 hero classes in Warcraft 3 use Avatar? What was Maev's ability called?
That was Avatar Vengeance.
So there's 2 avatars in.
Yeah. Well, an avatar is just like an embodiment or an incarnation of.
Quick trivia moment for you out there at home. What's the other class in Warcraft 3 of the main ones? I'm not talking about a bunch of mercenary classes that can use an avatar ability. We'll wait for you to pause to figure it out. And we're back. It was Mountain King. That was the answer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
which in a way does that mean we technically have Mountain King now?
I don't think so. Mountain King.
We have Thunderclap.
Warriors have always had Thunderclap. Thunderclap is Taran Chieftain.
No. That's the hoof stomp thing.
Oh, you're right. That's War Stomp.
Thunderclap.
Yeah, he does. The Mountain King does have Thunderclap.
Yes, he does. That's what I'm saying. But do Warriors today?
Yeah.
Dude, I have been playing too, and you know what I realized? I don't remember seeing Thunderclap at all.
It's probably in Prot.
I'm looking right now.
It's in Prot.
Dude, if Thunderclap is not in here, dude, I'm about to have a hissy fit. Like straight up, I might.
It might be in the class talent.
All right, here we go. Where's Sargarrett? There.
Man, you could have messed with me just now because I saw your mouth moving. I didn't hear any noise, and I was like, did I just lose you? And you should have just been like,
oh no, I'm like my jaw's still like a little sore, but like nothing compared to what it was. Like, dude, I'm pretty much back to normal moving, normal eating, normal everything.
Normal shitting?
Yeah. That was like, dude, when you eat soft, your shit is soft. And a lot of times you're just spraying liquid everywhere.
Soft as baby shit.
Dude, softer than baby shit. Though I'm going to be honest, I've never wiped a child's ass, so thank God.
He said you soft.
Which I imagine you will have to do some point in the near future.
Just like Blood Elf Warriors are soft.
All right, here I am. Okay, so let me look through here. I'm looking for that. There it is. Okay, it's in the base warrior tree.
It is. Okay.
It is there. Why do I not have it?
All right, let's piss off the Warriors. Where do we put them?
I think they go to the bottom, dude. Because when it comes to fantasy, we're talking about something that is extraordinary. And let's be honest, there's really nothing extraordinary about Warriors except for maybe 1D.
Okay, hang on. I was going to say B tier, which is middle. Because even though they can't do all the flashy stuff that a lot of the other classes can, like Broxigar jumping into the fucking twisting nether.
1D. Not enough.
Varian fucking jumping off of the fucking airship, one-shotting the fucking Garathi World Breaker, charging into the demon horde all by himself.
Yeah, but here's the problem. When the warrior does something awesome, he usually what?
He gets a warrior's death.
Yeah, death, right. Put him in the D.
Damn. Bro.
I know it hurts.
The fact that they don't have any of the magic, and they've still, they have to be C tier at least based on just badassness alone. You know what? Maybe that would be easier. What belongs in fucking D tier? You're going to say Warriors are the lowest of the low.
I mean, when it comes down to the fantasy realm, yeah. You're basically at the mercy of every magic.
All right. I think, I think
a lot of people are smashing keyboards right now.
The Warriors are definitely thunderclapping them cheeks. Yes. They're thunderclapping them cheeks. All right. Warlock.
So Warlocks are awesome, but here's the deal. I think they're going to have to go into C.
Warlocks are metal.
Allow me to make my case.
They enslave demons.
They do. A lot of these things are cool.
But slaves, though.
But let's be honest, especially in the tick of unless we're talking about tabletops or anything, which we're not. We're specifically concentrating on World of Warcraft this time.
Mm-hmm.
It's not as aesthetically pleasing. If you're playing Affliction Lock, it's dotting and running. You know, if it comes down to demonology,
dot-based class.
Mm-hmm. When it comes down to demonology, it's not as easy to play as the others because it's not as stack this, do this. You know, that makes sense. As where it's more like playing Zoo. Zoo's not something everyone knows how to do. You know,
it does look very cool nowadays, though. Seeing them
it does look sick, dude. I'm playing a demo right now.
Okay, time out.
I love it.
They're one of the only classes in the game that can do something like dropping an infernal into an area and letting it terrorize the area.
Yeah. Just release it and catch and release.
Them losing their demon quests, that fucking hurt the class fantasy a lot.
Yeah.
Green Fire was pretty sick to be able to get there like anything that gets
okay, well, yeah, but you know that belongs with us demon hunters. Like that belongs.
Oh no, you're talking about Metamorphosis.
Oh yeah.
There are a lot of people out there that are very salty about that to this day.
Yeah, but that's because they play Warlock.
I'm going to be honest, Warlocks, you ought to know your history because Metamorphosis existed way before Warlock. Was there even a Warlock in Warcraft 3?
Yeah, there are.
Orcs. Yeah, that's right.
When they become corrupted, they become Warlocks.
That's right.
And they have spells like Cripple, Firebolt, and.
But can you use one in a death match?
I think you can get them in Mercenaries.
Oh, Mercenaries. Yeah, okay. Well, in Mercenaries, you can get like a Brewmaster.
Yeah. I'm saying like you can get a.
For those of you that thought pandas,
you can pretty much get almost all of the environment units in the Mercenaries camp, like depending on the map.
Yeah, you can get the fucking Pit Lord.
Yeah. Oh, dude, the Pit Lord is a great hero unit to use. One of my favorite stacks is the Demon Hunter, the Pit Lord, and the Fire Lord. It's a very, very fast burning army. What you do is you kind of use the Mountain Giants to soak. You use the Pit Lord to mitigate the damage. Use your Druids of the Claw to rejuvenate the mountain.
Have you done the Warlock Order Hall stuff at all?
Not yet.
I'll bet you that's sick.
I bet it is. And the Chaos Steed looks awesome.
Oh yeah, dude. Their mounts are always fucking.
Yeah, dude. And I mean, they've always had cool mounts.
And they've had a mount like for a long time, so that's pretty cool.
Their first mount has always been pretty much free.
Yeah, which honestly I hated as a kid.
Oh yeah.
I had a friend that he always played the classes that got free mounts, and I was like, "This is not a coincidence that every class
he played Paladin and Warlock back in the day.
Every class he picked was fucking free mounts, welfare mounts."
I just lost the game.
I also just lost the game, son of a bitch. Hello.
You brought him up.
Yep.
And if he watches at any point in his life, yes.
Okay, I got another thing about Warlocks that makes them go down in the tier list, if you ask me.
Makes them go down. Interesting.
Because
we haven't talked about destruction yet, and they have the most.
Well, that's my problem, and that sort of goes to a larger point for a lot of these for several of the classes. They can't do anything besides DPS, which is fine, but it means that the specs are kind of like.
If we're gonna do that, just go ahead and throw Druid in the S rank.
No.
Skip all that shit. Just put Druid because they're the most spoiled.
Well, as for spoiled,
as for specializations, they are so spoiled. They fill every role in every capacity. They can be melee DPS. They can be range DPS. They can be the tank. They can be the healer.
But do they do any of it? But do they do any of it as well as any of their counterparts?
Dude, bear tanking is fine.
It's
Boom
not
Chicken
usually
is awesome. Now, Feral Kitty is really shit right now, but I'm
they
sure
are
it got
masters
better with the talent,
of none.
Maybe it is. I don't know.
Boom Chicken was definitely powerful in Shadowlands.
Dude, Boom Chicken has always been like a scourge.
Imagine.
Now, I'm glad that the fucking tree form is gone. That is outside of not being a joke.
You don't like tree powers activate,
dude. I hate. That's one thing I hate about World of Warcraft. I hate unkillable healers. I'm hoping, I was really hoping that they finally upped Mortal Dance, the Mortal debuff to 50%, which means I'm going to be able to eat those motherfuckers now. That was my whole goal, is to just kill Druid healers. Just Paladin and Druid healers. That's all I want to kill.
Okay, so Warlocks, though. My problem is when you have a class that can only DPS, every specialization needs to be.
Okay,
No,
There's
you're honing
utility
too
here.
much. You're honing too much in on the fact that I'm not saying they're bad
Yes,
because
you're very biased about tanks,
no,
man.
I love tanking, but what I'm not saying a class is worse if it doesn't have a healer or a tank spec. I'm saying when you are just a damage class, if your specs aren't vastly different, then they're almost pointless.
I say, yeah, that's a good point because it really now for between Demo and Affliction. Well, no, they're three space. See, Warlock is fine in that case because you're not doing the same thing on the all three.
But you know what the
Destruction
problem?
is more casting like a mage. Affliction is more of a strategic play, as it where Demonology is more of a
But you
zoo
know
play.
what happens with Hunter, Mage, Warlock? I'm trying to think of
No,
other
if we're
ones.
gonna do that, I would say Mage
No,
needs to go down to the bottom rank now.
Well,
because
no, and this is what I'm saying. Hunter, Mage, Warlock, Rogue, all the ones that just have a DPS spec, one of their specs, every tier, every patch is complete dog shit.
yeah.
So they have to go down just a little bit for that.
Well, then put him in C rank.
Well, that's where you wanted to put them originally, I think. And I'm fine with that.
I'm gonna say, dude, but they're definitely not a D rank. Like they bring too much utility to the table. You know what I'm saying?
Warlocks do have a shit ton of utility, and utility is good
They
in
give
my book.
soul stones. They have the best bring your party member here. You know, like they have cookies.
I
What
think
else?
Warlocks should be B tier.
Unending breath for the water parts of the dungeon, which really isn't too much, but still it's a nice thing to have in the belt. The curses, they can always adjust out to like if a tank hits, if a mob hits too hard, we've got Curse of Weakness.
I think
They
Warlocks should be B
They
tier.
can fear.
I think you're only reinforcing that. I think they're at least B tier.
B tier then? I can live with B tier.
And I'm not even like I've never been a big Warlock guy, but yeah, I think
they bring a lot to the table.
They do.
As utility Mage's three specs are all pretty much the same. You're doing the same thing.
Which brings us to Mage.
Exactly, because Mage is a situation where you're just changing the aesthetics. I mean, you might push them in a different combination, but and one might have more button presses than the other. But essentially, you're making Magic Bolt go woo.
Yeah, and Mage has always been one of the worst for having one a huge difference.
There is Frost Mage at least had the beauty of snaring, and being more of a crowd control class, as where Arcane was just really fast casting with Palm, and Fire Mage was just big.
Also, Drakthir coming into the game, Evokers, I think that weakens Mage even further because it's
because they're going to be the fun ones doing they're going to be more integrated with their abilities. There's going to be flying involved with some of these moves.
And Mage is kind of Mage is almost just like saying Wizard, which is, I think Mages have to go D tier, dude.
I'm going to have to agree too, because even look at their utility. Sure, you might be able to send someone to a capital city. That's good.
That's shit nowadays. That was good in Classic.
It's pointless now. And on top of that, you provide a refreshment table,
which is largely worthless now. Exactly.
I mean, yeah, it's cool in Arena, but the only person that gets use of it is the Rogue. And let's face it, we'll get the Rogue.
Dude, people don't even like CCs anymore because of Mythic Plus. You need to kill everything at once most of the time. Yeah. So so
the poly is pointless almost.
Yeah. A fucking druid completely negates polymorph. You're going to talk about PvP.
Yeah, because of the swipe or whatever.
Just all they're transforming.
Yeah, so even in PvP, and most people are rolling human or undead, so 2 trinkets.
Okay, let's think about it like this. Mages from lore. You got Jaina. You got Khadgar is cool.
Yeah,
he's not enough to save it though.
You got Medivh. Medivh is technically a mage.
Yeah, he was. He's like a guardian though, dude. He's so far outside of the realm of mage at that point.
Yeah, okay, that's later in life though. He starts out as a mage.
Yeah, but
and his dad was definitely a mage.
You almost never even see him as a mage.
Ronan?
Ronan is badass.
Ronan is badass.
Crassus was kind of a mage. I guess he'd be an evoker now, basically, but like.
Yeah, no. I was like, Crassus is technically an evoker, so no.
Okay, so mage is D tier. We couldn't
D-tier.
save it.
I agree with D tier, dude. Warlock had like not only did it had the saving grace of good utility, but it was excellent utility.
And like the problem on the point of like there being a good spec and a shit one, it's always like massively different. Like it's like one is
generally Arcane is garbage. Like
which is lame because I always thought Arcane was like one of the
like
coolest.
The coolest. Yeah, like but once again, I'm also kind of remembering back like I know that it got good when they got Arcane Blast, and I don't know where it really is right now. Because once again, I'm just not really playing a mage. My mage is level 13 right now. You know, it's been ages since I've done the whole. Well, I'm not going to say that tune's name. And I'm not going to say where I was playing that because I don't want to get banned.
Mages have gotten watered down more and more. Like,
yeah, because dude, you got to remember you're just generic spellcaster. Like,
well, I feel better for the Warriors now.
Which is why, like, we need like we'll be fixing a lot of this with next week's conversation.
Oh yes, that will be an interesting one.
Mm-hmm.
So if we piss you off,
you to really, like, I really want you
to tell us if we're wrong down in the comments. We would love to see what you think.
Yeah, I'd love to prove you wrong.
Okay, the priest. Okay, this is the first class I leveled to max, but
I think they got to go A.
A tier.
A tier. Hear me out. Here's why. They have 3 specs, and 2 of them are basically healing, but they are significantly different from each other.
Discipline healing is one of the coolest, but Evoker weakens discipline. It is the people. You remember how we said a second ago?
Yeah, I agree.
Warlocks were upset when they lost Metamorphosis.
Yeah.
Disc priests are upset that evokers are getting a lot of their shit, basically.
Oh, like power infusion and whatnot?
No, power infusion is still a priest thing. But
like I'm gonna be honest, that's the big one.
The Drakthir healing spec kind of plays the way a disc priest was set up to play.
I'm gonna say that's fine, dude, because
it just weakens it a little bit, but it is
holy is such a different play that I think it's okay.
And Shadow is awesome.
Yeah, and Shadow is just a great DPS spec. And it comes with the fear utility.
So
and mind control.
Listen, I loved Priest, but Priest feels fairly generic as well.
With 3 unique specs?
No, that is a strength. That's a point to make it go further up. Who are cool priests?
Tyrande.
Okay.
The freaking Night Warrior.
Oh, well, she should almost be her own class, like a hero class. But then how do you give that
Chandris
to the board?
Is technically a Moon Priestess, so she's a priest, though she's more of a ranger, but she's still a priest.
I can't remember his name all of a sudden. Not a comma.
No, you're talking about the male Night Warrior?
No. I'm talking about Draenei, the prophet.
Oh,
Velen. Velen is awesome.
Velen is awesome. Yeah, very very priest-like, doing the and struggled with the concept of dark and light and choices.
Yeah, his whole
the Legion thing.
His whole thing with Illidan was good. Like I said, man, I just feel like it's one of the more generic classes as far as the class fantasy goes. I think Paladin is like in Warcraft specifically, like they've said that basically Paladins are just priests that wear plate and use like fucking melee, which hurts priests because then it's like, okay, so what do? They stand around in a fucking church all day? Like they don't have that many cool.
Okay, when it comes to that though, it's like, okay.
Anduin, takes them down a few points.
I would say, well, no, Anduin's a paladin.
Well, now he's a paladin. Yes, so he's bringing down the paladins.
Yeah, so here's what I'm going to say. Straight up, dude. Priests are like, I don't need metal. I don't need the world's protection. The light is my protection. And I'm going to be honest, That's pretty badass.
Shadow Priest is metal. I guess
Oh
metal
yeah,
enough.
dude. Yeah, dude. Like they melt faces. Come on.
Oh yeah, mind control.
Gotta be
Like,
mind control. A tier, bro. Shadow word death.
Yeah.
If you do not kill it, I will punish you.
Oh, dude, no, the whole what is the lose yourself to madness? Like you die. Like, yeah, okay.
A tier, bro.
Yeah, you convinced me. I'm down with that. Druids, though.
S rank, just drop an S rank. I don't even want to talk about them.
No, we can't.
Dude,
Listen,
they have to be S rank. Here's the deal. They're never bad. Blizzard never are they bad. They're always good tanks. They're always good healers, and they always have a good DPS spec.
The fact that they can do everything makes them less exciting to me.
Okay, that might make them less exciting, but all their specs are unique. They have the most customization in the game. What race you choose depends on what animal you get.
That's cool.
Like for example, the druids for Kul Tyrans, which is the one I'm playing right now, has a much different druid feel because it's more pagan than it is like
because of the Drusk.
Yeah, and it less less Saloon, more wild magic, more the spirit of the wild, more of the beast. As a where you get over to like say troll druids where it's more primal, it's more
turning into Stormcrow form is pretty badass.
Exactly. And as a where Night Elf, the top tier in my personal opinion, is the most enlightened, the most the natural, the child of the wild itself.
I think they're A tier at best.
Dude, I'm sorry. They got way too much to be A tier. Like, if they've
been given everything. No, they can't be the best.
That's part of the reason why they are S tier. I don't like the class. Like, I do not like Blizzard's version of Druid. I prefer the
Druids in Warcraft 3 are awesome. Our time is short.
They belong in S rank then. If you think they're that awesome, they really belong in S rank because there's not really any case to make that they belong in A tier.
No, I'm telling you, I think the fact that they can do everything and they don't do any of it. They're
the only ones that can do. Okay,
they don't do anything. No, there's several classes that can do everything, and I think that is a point against all of those classes.
No, not all classes can do everything.
Several classes can do everything.
They can fulfill when it comes to DPS.
We're talking the Holy Trinity. Okay, yes, they get a ranged and a melee DPS. I understand your point.
That's the only way to have it all covered, man. I'm telling you, they're the only ones that cover all those bases.
If there's a kid on the block that has everything,
yes,
you're saying that kid is S tier. No.
Dude, you're dealing with an S tier place, and you got to deal with them like they're S tier. If you don't put them in S tier, you're underestimating them, and that's why you'll lose to them.
What else goes in S tier?
Demon Hunter.
Yeah, exactly. No.
Yeah, I know. I know. They don't go S tier. I know.
I don't want to put my class in S tier either, even though I want to.
Dude, I'm telling you, they have to go up there.
But what else goes in S tier?
We'll get there. We got other classes to go through. Let's deal with them as we come.
Let's see where
this is like a game. Let's see where the pieces land.
I want to put them in A tier.
You got to make a case that convinces me A tier. Then
you haven't convinced me that they're S tier.
I feel like I've given you more than sufficient to be S tier. There is nothing super negative about them.
Some of the points that you call make them S tier, I would call a point against them.
That's to your personal opinion, though. You know what I'm saying? This is literally you saying, I don't want to put them S tier because I don't like them enough.
That's not it.
The point, what makes them here is they have a huge player base.
I truly think that for me, it is the jack of all trades, Master of None. They pay the hybrid tax. Like, for some reason,
But the problem is Blizzard doesn't really make
for
them pay the
some
hybrid
reason,
tax.
Boom Chicken was good through all of Shadowlands. It's because of Convoke. Convoke was just broken the whole time. But dude, I'm telling you, like, Bear Tank is good when people are figuring out like how to play the game, and then once you know the boss fight's better, there's a better tank to play. Like, Resto Druid is always good.
It doesn't mean you can't beat it with the Druid.
Resto Druid is always good in PvP and PvE. They're great flag carriers.
Mm-hmm.
But
Dude,
everything that they do, there's a class that accomplishes it better.
They were also the first class with a battle res. Granted, none of them ever carried the fucking seed, but like,
that's reagents in general, bro.
yeah, no. Paladins always had symbols of divinity, dude.
Malfurion is badass.
Yeah, he's right. When he's awake.
That's the problem with all druids. Or maybe that's the point. I think it's kind of funny that
I
they're
don't know, man. I think Malfurion skates the line of eco-terrorist, but
I mean, all druids are kind of like eco-terrorists.
yeah, I know. Like I said, the dream is a world without living creatures in it other than plants. So keep an eye on those.
But that's to that point. Like, if you're gonna bring up like lore and stuff, like the druids, like
they're one of the most important.
Malfurion is way cooler in the books than he is in the game. Like,
yeah. He's very pointless in the game.
He was way more relevant back in the day. The druids don't do much nowadays. They sit around. Like,
I mean, that's what they do. They watch the plants grow. At least, I mean, that is the walk. Like, so even better case for them because they stick to the role.
Okay, fine. We'll put them in S tier. But I'm just telling you.
You don't like it. I get it, man. I don't like it either. But it's just the way it is.
No, Druid is cool. I like playing my Druid. Like, but I just, like I said, I feel like having everything is not something that is,
Dude, I mean, like, when I think S tier, they have to be able to accomplish all goals, and they need to be, like, valid for accomplishing the goal. And in a lot of cases, they're valid no matter what they choose. You know,
if you could only pick
there
one,
might be a better tank than them.
if you could only pick one class to be S tier, you're saying Druid would be it.
If I could only pick one,
yeah.
I don't know. We'll have to find out, dude. Like, we still have buttons to go through.
I think I know which one I would make S tier, but like, if it wasn't that, it would probably be Druid. Just looking at everything else.
Okay.
Rogue.
Now this is a tough one because Rogue is like, okay, you're doing the same thing all three. Well, okay, minus the new Outlaw spec. Outlaw is basically more of a mid short range.
They've got a grappling hook.
Yeah, and like it increases mobility, but essentially we're still kind of doing the same thing.
I think Rogue is a solid C tier.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with that. Like, I'm gonna have to agree. Like, there's not like. Sure,
and you know why part of that is?
Why?
This is something that limits rogues from going higher up. The people that play rogues as their turbo main.
Their community, the mindset that comes from the rogue player is just, I mean, it's
Earlier today when we were talking about this, he said this was a bad idea. I'm starting to think he was right. He being you.
I was like, dude, I'm just saying, community can get real jaded.
Is anybody but druids happy with us right now?
And we both expressed that we don't like you.
No, you're right. Even they're not happy with us.
It's like they're not happy. They're like, well, they don't like us. It's like, yeah, because y'all ask for more shit than anybody else. Like,
I think that Rogue, like, largely, like, even outside of WoW, Rogue is like, it shouldn't be a boring class.
Dude, it's not. In tabletops, it is one of the most fun things.
They are utility.
In Skyrim VR, some of the most fun I've had is being a sneaky fuck. Dude, it's like,
I'm gonna be honest. In video games, when I have the option to approach things from multiple ways, like stealth is like always my least favorite
dude.
approach.
I mean, like it's one of your favorite parts of the Batman Arkham games, right? Is doing the
Batman
mode.
is different. Like,
but Batman is essentially a rogue that can tank. Like
that's the thing he would be closest to.
Yeah, he's that. Like that is the thing he would be. If Batman's in this universe, he's a rogue and he can take a Loa. Like.
Okay.
Valera probably wants to suck his dick.
In the context of things outside of WoW, Ranger, which is like what WoW calls Hunter, like this was always my favorite class fantasy in D&D. Not just because of the pets, but like the fucking bow. It's like everybody Legolas was your favorite when you were a kid.
Hiding and
fucking like all their nature, like yeah,
dude, Hunter is fun. It's a great mindset. Like,
dude, the animal companion is fucking sick. Like you think about like Rexar and Misha. Like, I think Hunter is A tier, or maybe B because
I can see B. I can see, but I can't.
They've got less utility than warlocks. Like
they definitely have less utility than warlocks.
Everything has less utility than warlocks.
And essentially outside of survival, well,
which is cool because the survival play is cool. It is so different.
For the longest time, it was a meme.
It was. You're absolutely right about that.
And that's the problem. It's never consistently like it's just not consistent enough to be A, if you ask me.
You know what I hate? I hate that Beastmaster is kind of like the it's not that great. Like
right now it's not.
I think that like
it should be. That's your chance to be like Rexar, and I think they're missing some opportunity there.
I think it almost like ends up. It's almost like it gets treated like it's like a fucking like a tutorial class or something, and it's like it shouldn't be that. Like I feel like Beastmaster pays a tax in that it isn't allowed to be as good because you have a pet, and it's just like, oh, funny enough, we have two of the pet classes are in the same tier, basically. We didn't even plan that.
Yeah, no, that's it. I just now noticed that, yeah.
Paladins.
If there's any other class that gets S tier, it's them.
They're definitely not S tier.
How are they not S tier? They can do all three roles, and they are good at all.
They can't be ranged.
They can't
as much as people want them to be.
Holy Paladin can be
Holy
ranged.
Shock is not a thing. It should. People want it to be a thing.
I don't play Holy, so
people thought it was going to be a thing, and then Blizzard just decided to go, nope. Like, then they fucked it.
Well, come on. Do you want a ranged plate where, like, when you get up to him, he's hard. He's tough as shit. Come on. You can't do that.
I told you, like, one of my favorite classes, like, Priest and Paladin are both weakened by the fact that they are essentially the same thing. Like, I would knock them both.
Only with Blizzard, though. In every other reality, they are completely different. And Paladins don't heal in most realities.
I would not, if it was just me, I would knock Priest and Paladin both down one tier because they both are kind of homogenized.
And then put them in A tier because they at least deserve A tier.
Okay, I think that's fair because they can do.
And also look at the Paladins of Lore. Well, I can't say Uther anymore because of what they did to Shadowlands.
Who's the coolest Paladin?
I hate Tyrion too, dude.
Well, you fucking Turalian? Dude, Paladins just suck. Like,
yeah, dude, like, oh, God, let's not look at the lore. Leandrin. Lady Leandrin's awesome.
She's cool. Badass. She is badass. Bolvar. Bolvar was sick before he was... Well, he was.
I thought Bolvar was a warrior, though.
He was technically a paladin, but he was essentially a warrior.
No. Even in Hearthstone, he's a paladin. He's one of the legendary cards.
But no, you're right. Yeah. He's basically a priest that knows how to fight. Like, that's it. Like, he's like a warrior. Like, he's only a paladin in that, like, basically, he's like a... he's essentially a warrior. Like...
No, he's a seat warmer.
Dude, fucking... Yeah, Bolvar dropped off so hard.
Yeah, let's stop looking at Paladins of Lore outside of Lady Leandra.
There has to, okay, Lady Leandra.
Trolls.
So like I said, there has to be a cool paladin. Like, okay, this one will be interesting. I think this is one of the cooler, just fantasy speaking. I think shamans are badass.
I'm gonna have to agree with that. Shamans are pretty fucking cool.
Of the two nature magic users, well, they're like not nature, but like nature adjacent.
I mean, the element stuff is cool. And
I would like druids are cool. Shamans are like, I like their side of the magic, the primal stuff better.
Of the primal stuff, yeah. I mean, I'm partial to the druid side there.
I think they're both really cool, lore-wise. And
because
like fantasy.
druid in this class is the closest thing you get to an astromancer in this world. So
they can heal, so they can do two things.
I love shaman healing.
Enhancement and elemental play very differently.
Yes, enhancement is supposed to be pretty fucking...
But it's almost always garbage.
Actually, it's supposed to be pretty nasty. It always pretty bad. Well, like, and even in vanilla, like, you had to have, what was it?
Historically, it's been Garbo, though.
Oh, the name of that axe. I can't remember all of a sudden.
Kang the Decapitator.
No, not Kang the Decapitator. It was the one that increased spell damage. I can't remember its name all of a sudden. Nightfall.
Oh, speaking of.
Does my age show play base?
Dude, if you make an allied race paladin, they just give you the Hand of the Naru. You get the Mog for Hand of the Naru if you make an allied race paladin.
I didn't.
My fucking Dark Iron Dwarf started with it.
That's Leland. That's because you already had the hammer.
You're kidding.
Yeah.
I did have it, but like, why would a race? No, dude. The green item, the green item that he has the exact same Mog as Hand of the Naru. I thought that was lame.
Man, I wish I'd known that because I had to go get it from Gruul.
I've had it the legit way as well. I just think it's lame.
I don't care. I already had it. I got the way I wanted. That's all I care about. I don't give a shit if anybody else knows I had it that way. Plus, also, I have the good artifact appearance from for the sword and board for Paladin. I have the hammer, the Naru version of the sword and board. First try. Wasn't that hard. That's because I play with a lot of Warcraft 3, and that's what that tower was.
So shamans, though.
So when it comes to them, they are like they bring. Man, I didn't think about that. We forgot about Mage's time. Yeah, and mages have time warp.
That's true.
We might have to at least bump mage up. Nah,
well, hunters also have a bloodlust now, and I think evokers are going to have it, so it devalues it.
Yeah, so there you go. So it devalues it. But dude, Wind Fury.
Wind Fury's not as good as it used to be.
It doesn't matter, dude. Wind Fury's fucking awesome.
Frost Shock.
Frost Shock. There you go. A tier. Easy. Frost Shock. And dude, you can spam the shit out of it now. Like, even a druid stays Frost Shock.
We were going to put it in B tier, and then they cast Frost Shock, and now...
and then now we have to put him in A tier. And then cast Frost Shock. Do you remember that video, dear viewer?
Bum, 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 bum.
I'm a switcher.
Death Knight. This...
All right. Now, this we both love this class.
It can't be S tier.
No, they can't.
But I think this is. I think this is
generally Unholy or Frost is more viable than the other one.
And this is part of what makes Warrior not as good. A Death Knight is Death Knight and Paladins are just cooler warriors.
Yes, they are. So where do they go?
I think Death Knight is A tier.
A tier.
They get
I need a bit of a case here.
One of their specs is and it's supposed to play very different now in Dragonflight, but they basically have a pet class in Unholy. Like,
okay, so we have a zoo type fight.
Fucking the Lich King is a fucking Death Knight. Frost, you fucking like They have a tank class. It plays very different from other tank classes and always has.
Yeah, I'm still not a fan of it, but because
It's just unique though. It's unique.
It is unique.
Their class fantasy itself is the most metal in the game.
It is. It is. And there are a lot of Death Knights. A lot of people seem to like Death Knight. And
yeah, dude. Wrath of the Lich King. Yeah, look at Wrath. Like, people love Wrath.
Yeah, okay, I can see that. Put him in A.
Okay, now, Monk is the class that I was going to say. If I wasn't going to say Druid was the only S tier, Monk can do all the things. And every Mistweaver plays completely different from every healer. Brewmaster plays completely different from every other tank. Windwalker is easy to pick up and learn to play, but mastering it requires
thought,
a high level of strategy, like
brain power.
It's very different. I know it came out in Pandaland. I know there are some people that don't like them using their fists. Like, there's a lot of people that are going to hate it because they just don't use a fucking weapon in the same way.
I'm going to be honest. I always felt like Monk should have the option to use fists. Like, I like my Monk using his hands.
Dude, I always thought in D&D, I thought unarmed fighting was one of the coolest things. Like, but yeah, I love kung fu movies and like.
Yeah. Yeah, dude.
I think Monk should be S tier.
I agree. I think you've got me there. I was leaning more towards a B tier, but I could definitely see S.
Their class fantasy is sick. Their fucking mount talks.
It is, dude. Like, yeah, I don't care about the mount talking. But
get Bon Lu and tell me you don't care about Bon Lu.
I mean, that's not going to affect my grading.
I think that. Well, but what I said that at the beginning because I do think that's important.
If that's the case, original corrupted Ashbringer. I think you should bump Paladin up if you're going to do that. Because Ashbringer is a Paladin thing. It's a Paladin.
The Ashbringer is probably the coolest weapon in the game.
It's one of the most iconic next to Shadowmourne.
I was gonna say Shadowmourne is like
and Frostmourne.
You can't get Frostmourne, so like the fucking.
Yeah, I know you can't get it. But.
No, that's what I'm saying. The Ashbringer is like probably like the coolest, like the most iconic weapon in the game that you can use.
Yep. Which Demon I should have Hunter. Next week. We're a B tier.
They've only got 2 specs, which I don't understand to this day.
But both of our specs we do very well. Like, we don't play like other classes.
They're very cool class fantasy wise. They're fucking metal as shit.
Yeah.
If you were going to read
Illidan, come on.
If you were going to read and or listen to Audible, you should sponsor us. Listen to any one WoW book, it should be Illidan. That book is awesome. Like, I wish that there was if there should be a WoW book that goes into the depth for every class the way that Illidan talks about Demon Hunter, because that was awesome. I was so disappointed when I listened to the Arthas book and I didn't learn a single.
Let Mac ride him. Don't let Christy Golden ride him.
I didn't learn a goddamn thing about Death Knights.
Another Arthas wants to fuck his horse story.
You didn't learn a single goddamn thing about Death Knights when you listened to Arthas.
Yeah, you just get him. He wants to he died which is a retcon of Invincible.
Dude,
it is.
In the Illidan book, you learn about the way
how the demon hunters are made,
the way they consume their demon, why they have their tattoos, they're all going crazy. They've got like a story that kind of mirrors like the fucking Spartans from Halo, and that half of them like just die from like trying to make the transformation in the first place. Like Illidan's secret army, like fucking man.
But and our class order hall armor shit. But the
the Demon Hunter armor is sick.
From the class hall?
I think so. If I'm remembering it correctly.
You aren't. It looks weird. The headpiece is about the coolest piece, and the rest of it's just . Now I do use the chest piece for certain things, but I found a better looking one anyways. So no, not really.
Bro.
So the Illidari Slayer is awesome.
Bro.
They have,
you don't like that set?
nah, dude. Ugh.
Why?
It doesn't look Demon Hunter to me. It just looks like Sasquatch with a green face hole.
Man, I think the problem is you don't play Vengeance, because one problem that I had when I started looking at Mogs for Demon Hunter is I'm like, man, I need more. Like, I don't need more armor. I just need
looking at the class hall armor, right?
Class hall armor sets. Yeah, they got the giant horns and the fucking. I'm trying to get a big picture of it so I can pull it up on the screen.
As I pull it up on the screen, I don't think you're looking at the right one. The one I said that he doesn't have giant horns. Hang on a second.
Oh, okay. No, that was just that Night Elf's horns.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, dude. Those shoulders are sick. I think that's cool armor.
Once again, you prove that all your taste is in your mouth.
You had to quote Father.
Hey, he had some good one-liners.
Okay. One problem I have with with Demon Hunter, God damn it.
So you can't get that right.
One problem I have with Demon Hunter.
Hey, Pepper. Hey, Pepper Doodle.
Stinky boy. Honestly, I think their rotations are like, I think they've got more buttons now that they have revamped the talents, which is good, because Demon Hunter, it feels like
we have Spirit Bomb.
Yeah, that's cool.
We have Spirit Bomb.
Yeah, but dude, you have to admit that the rotations were kind of like simplified to the point where it's like,
no. Original Demon Hunter was very fast paced, lot to do, lot to move, and they have simplified it down, which kind of makes you play.
Well, it's better now in Dragonflight. Like, I think it's going to be in a better place.
There's more. There's more thought that goes into it.
You have Chaos Nova now in Vengeance, and other things.
Oh yeah, I did see that.
But that feels good.
Yeah, but Spirit Bomb. I wish we could get that in fucking and have it.
I think Demon Hunter. You said B tier. I think that's probably pretty fair.
I would say it's B tier, and it's my favorite class. Like,
if they, I wish they would give them a third spec.
I know if we had a third spec, like, and it was like ranged magic, I think we could be A tier. Like,
okay. Evoker.
See, the thing is, no one really knows. Like,
well, you and I haven't watched like streams of people playing beta and alpha Dragonflight. We haven't played it ourselves yet, so we have to try it out for ourselves.
D tier, because no one knows. Could be good. Okay, but you know what? Just put them in B, because they're on the fence.
I like that their play style for the healer seems, well, it would be unique in that it seems like it plays like discipline, kind of.
All I'm saying is, if they get to fly around that way, as a Demon Hunter, I should get to fly around that way.
They do get Dragonflight, like that's pretty cool. Like
I should get that.
They're pretty metal, created by Deathwing, like in secret, like that's pretty metal.
Yeah. It seems like secret super soldiers are the way to go in World of Warcraft. Death Knights, Demon Hunters.
They've only got 2 specs. They can only be one race. It's going to be really hard to judge them power-wise, because you know they're going to be like...
They're broke. It's their expansion. They're gonna be
exactly.
broke.
They're going to be like... They're going to be powerful the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Because Blizzard wants you to buy Dragonflight.
Yep. Which I'm glad, because that's going to thin out some of the weaker Demon Hunters finally.
You know what honestly hurts them for me, and this is another point against Druid? I don't like classes or races that you're not allowed to see some of your armor. And it seems like Drakthir, their armor is going to be limited. Like
Diaper Gnomes.
Yeah. Or like, and kind of like Worgen, in that their model is so like...
stretched.
Yeah. Like,
yeah, the Headless Horseman helmet looks weird on him. Although it makes some of the headgear look awesome. Like the ones you get from Firelands, pretty sick.
I think we put Evokers in C tier. You think you think B tier because it's just middle and we don't know yet?
Actually, they're 2 specs and no one knows. C tier. I can agree with C tier.
No melee. It's all ranged.
Yeah, no melee, which is weird for dragon. You think a drag would be superior in a
Well, they're not really dragons. They're kind of like, I'm a dragon. Like they're not. I'm a dragon.
Pyro.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay, so there's the list. Huh. That is not at all how I thought I'd like it. It's actually pretty. That's a lot more even than I thought it would be.
Things that are interesting.
Mm-hmm.
The two faction specific classes are both in the same tier.
Yeah.
The pet classes, unless you count Death Knight, like in this tier, we didn't have to bust out F tier, which I thought we might, but like, it was there. It was
there. Yeah. So don't feel too bad, Warriors.
Like the fact that Mage is down there, because listen, those are like the two most generic fantasy class fantasies. You know what I mean? It's like I'm a wizard. It's like Aragorn and Gandalf.
Wizard, Harry.
Aragorn and Gandalf are two of the most badass characters in Lord of the Rings, but like
that comes down to deeds and not the class.
Warrior, I do think is really metal, and I do think Mage is very cool. Like one of the things that like Archmage Antonidas, when I saw Warcraft 3, I always thought that was very cool. All of the arcane magic, like on the buildings in Warcraft 3, all the arcane stuff, I always thought was really cool. Like, but it just seems like I said, they're like a more bland version of this, like even these to some extent. Like a warrior is like mages, like they don't have all their utility
they're like
over time. Their fucking CC went over time. Their fucking what you call it?
And I don't think Ice Mage's rotation has ever really changed throughout
to this day, dude. Shatter combos was but shatter combos were fun as shit, dude. Like
yeah. But once again, still same thing.
What is they don't have the book mount. That's the fucking
I believe that's a drop. I thought that's a drop.
Yeah, it's a Torghast. It's for completing all the Torghast. No, it's all the mage towers. If you complete all the mage tower classes, then you get
the book.
Speaking of,
don't the mage order hall mount, isn't that a disc?
Yes. It's a disc.
I want the disc. You know, why don't they have like, I thought for sure in Pandaland there would have been a flying Nimbus.
There is.
There's a flying Nimbus. I got to get one.
Monks have a flying. You've already got it. It's a spell.
Like I have a flying Nimbus.
You can just like, it's you summon a cloud and you fly around.
And I fly around on it. Like 310% speed.
It never goes the full 310, but you can interact with objects while you're on top of it. It doesn't dismount you. Like you can gather and stuff without dropping out of it.
No, I want a flying Nimbus mount. Like mount. I don't care about the other shit.
No, because then every class could get it. And that needs to be a monk type thing. Yeah, I thought that was very fair. Like everyone's gonna hate it. So if you hate it, let us know down below. And stay tuned.
Tell you why you're wrong.
And next time
we'll talk about making some adjustments, maybe.
I definitely feel like the classes that have like rogue, hunter, mage, warlock, the ones that can only do damage, like they should really lean into making those feel different. Like if anyone should have 2 specs, it should be those and just make them very good. Because I think it's hard to do.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I do feel like that is something rather difficult.
I just think it's an easy win for Blizzard to lean into the class fantasy stuff because, like I said, I always want to get my class order hall mount. I always want to get my artifact weapons. The artifact weapon appearances are some of my favorite things to go after.
It's one of the cool collectibles, yeah. Which means you need to start PvPing more because some of those are only unlocked by PvP rank.
I've got that, and those are ones that you get for every class. Like if you start, you'll have some unlocked because
I know because the rank. Like that's why I love my Demon Hunter. I eat Horde for breakfast.
You don't like breakfast though.
Actually, I've been eating breakfast for the past 2 months, minus when I had the surgery.
I don't see how anyone cannot eat breakfast.
Well, not all of us have the golden metabolism of the gods, you know, and that's part of the reason why I have to eat breakfast, because I got to get my metabolism started.
You got to get it jump started, man. That's why
Exactly.
everyone should eat breakfast. The corn tastes like breakfast.
Oh man, got everything out of Hallows Eve. Got the helmet, got the sword,
You
got the
bastard.
mount.
I need to do my mount runs.
Dude, I'll jump on my shaman. Let's go hit it. Let's go hit it, Hype. Let's go get you let's go get you flying horsey.
Well, how do we end it?
Let's see. A great way to always end these things is
Ligma Johnson.
The show. Yeah, Ligma Johnson. If you don't like it, then you can go to bed.
If you don't like the tier list, Ligma Johnson. And if you don't get that, let me tell you about Sugma. And how do you feel about CDs or tapes?
Let us know down in the comments. Well, she's a woman and a something and a something and a something. She comes from Haiti. I couldn't hold a note if you put it in my hands.